show on Revolution Radio. Boy, Liz, I'm getting a really bad echo. Is it just me? Yes. I don't know how to get rid of it. Um, what would you suggest, Liz? Want to hang up and call back? Okay. There we go. Is that nope? It's still echo. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, here we go again. Isn't live radio just a hoot? So this is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And it is September 13th, 2016, Tuesday. And depending on where you live is depending on what time it is, huh? So welcome. Tonight we are going to do the curse removal, energy balancing. Mercury's still in retrograde. And I thought maybe you all would like a little spiritual tune-up for the week. We're going to do a little bit of energy work after that and touch base on what's going on at the Dakota pipeline. And then I have something really important that you really need to hear about, and it has to do with the CDC, who has declared a medical police state and announces power to detain the sick and punish those who do not comply. We're going to give you that update. And actually, they are looking for people to respond to this insane, idiotic thought. Can we say Heil Hitler? Yeah. And I will give you that information so you can write to them and say, you ought to be fired for these thoughts. We're also going to talk about Pokemon again. Why? Well, because on another radio show I did a program, and by golly, I went back to the archive and I found all my other old shows, but that one disappeared. And when they powers that be disappear my programs or censor me, all they're doing is telling me that I'm being effective, and it's really important for people to hear how satanic Pokemon Go is. But I'm really pleased that I am hearing how many parents are now becoming very concerned over this game, which they really should. Because it is a dangerous game, manifesting demons. Actually, it's like, gosh, parents, you're letting demons babysit your children. Nice one. And yeah, I can't say too much. Cassidy the First Stone, because when it was first came out in 1995, yeah, Pokemon did babysit my kids. But anyway, it's 20 years later, and I'm not the same person I was back then, with different understandings, different awareness, and dang, this thing is satanic. So we're going to talk about that again. And actually, I've had many people request information on this because they want to give it to friends of theirs who are having problems with their kids over Pokemon Go. So let's start off with doing the curse removal energy balancing. And if you've not ever done this before, this is helping you clear out energies that no longer serves you. It's opening up all your chakras, your energy centers, and you have one at the top of your head, your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, your belly button, your root, your feet, and your hands. And when they're all open, your body breathes better. Say, for example, somebody who really has a hard time expressing love. Well, the odds are pretty good that that person's going to have heart challenges. Or someone that doesn't speak their truth, holds everything in, might have some throat considerations and challenges. So it's really important to get these open, and at the end I remove curses, energy overlays, and things that no longer serve you, because I want you to be successful, and I want you to be able to move forward in ease, and I want divine abundance to come to you. And hopefully you'll have so much abundance that you pass it on to others. All right, so before we do that, I'm having a feeling that I really should explain a little further what Mercury in retrograde is. And if you know what Murphy's Law is, if it can go wrong, it will. That's kind of what Mercury in retrograde. It has to do with the planets doing some really funky things that do this about 4 times a year for 3 weeks. So what can happen in Mercury in retrograde? Appointments may not want to come together. You will have communication problems. Electrical things can fall apart. You can have, your car trouble, anything electrical, mechanical. You really don't want to start anything new during this time period, a new relationship, or sign any papers, because a lot of times when Mercury goes direct, it kind of falls apart. Now, there are those few pattern interrupts, and if you're going to do it, I wish you well, but most of us kind of stay away from Mercury in retrograde, and we do our best not to sign anything until after retrograde, start any new projects, that kind of stuff. Now, it is a good time for completion. And, if you've already have your project started, to really, go to it and to finish it. It also, you have a lot of unfinished business that may appear in your life. You might see people you haven't seen for years pop up for no reason. Well, yeah, there is a reason. You have unfinished business. Yeah, I call them the Mercury in retrograde crowd. So just honor, acknowledge it, honor it, and bless them, and get rid of that karma. All righty. So if things are a little tough for you right now and things are starting happening the way you want them to, you can blame it on Mercury in retrograde. I mean, I do. All my friends do. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Mercury in retrograde. That's why it didn't go easy. I mean, my friend bought me a bird cage. Somebody gave me a beautiful little conure parrot, and I want to bring him down to the store, but I need a different cage, because the cage I have for him at the house is really too big. That was given to me with the bird. So my girlfriend she did. She ordered me a bird cage for my birthday. It took them 5 hours to get the bird cage ordered. And, I live in Hawaii, and not everybody wants to ship to Hawaii. Go figure. You find something lovely out here, and it's like, oh, yeah, free shipping. Not to Hawaii. Matter of fact, we're not even going to ship to Hawaii. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so that's Mercury in retrograde. Okay, so if you're going to do the curse removal, energy balancing with me, I want you to sit down and sit as straight as you can, feet flat on the floor, and put your arms comfortably in your lap, hands with your palms up. And I want you to start taking gentle deep breaths, but not so you hyperventilate on me, okay? Just breathe in light and exhale out everything that no longer serves you, and imagine that energy going through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. Now keep doing that until I tell you to stop. And as you're doing that, I surround each and every one of you in a bubble of golden flame. I add to that the blue flame of protection, the violet flame of transmutation, the green flame of healing, and I seal you in the pink flame of love. I called all your teachers, guides, masters, and all the divine beings that are working with you, and we invite them in to make this energy work as gentle, loving, and kind as we can. So take one more deep breath, and as you exhale, release everything that's left inside your body. Imagine that being released as you exhale through your breath, and then breathe normal. Now I want you to imagine this incredible divine healing energy coming down from God, coming into the top of your head, and allow that divine energy to flow out your third eye, your forehead. And now I want this energy to expand so it really touches every cell, atom, molecule in your brain, reconnecting every cell, atom, molecule of your brain to the Creator. So you become divine beings of unlimited potential. And now allow that energy to flow down and flow out of your throat chakra. And feel that energy flow down even farther And feel it come out of your heart chakra. And now feel that divine energy flow down even farther and feel it come out of your solar plexus chakra. And now let that energy flow down even farther. So it comes out of your belly button chakra. And now let that energy flow down even farther. So it comes out of your belly button chakra. And now let it come out of your sacral. Now feel it flow down even farther so it comes out of your root chakra. Now feel this energy flow all the way down your legs. Let it go out your feet and send it into the earth. And now allow this energy to flow down your arms and out your hands and feel it flow down your spine. So I want you to take one more deep breath, and this time as you exhale, feel everything that's left in your body being gently released that no longer serves you, being gently released as you exhale, and then breathe normal. As you're doing that, I call to Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours. Whether it's from a friend, relative, acquaintance, stranger, anybody you work with, TV set, animal, whatever the karmic reason is, it created anything out of balance in your life or your body today. And as all that unwanted energies peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to reptile, dinosaur energy, secret societies, organized religion, cut all ties to any oaths, vows, curses, hexes, rituals that could have been done to you or your family, going backwards and forwards, hundreds of thousands of generations, or anything you could have done, consciously or unconsciously. And as all that unwanted energy too's peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. Now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to any effigies that have been misused against you, and that's any elemental of yours that was used to hurt you or anyone, including anything you own, clothes, hair, picture, your name written, spoken, just thought of, or just thought of. And as that energy is cut from all those elementals, we call the violet flame through them to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We fill them up with love, and I command them to be neutral or only emit love. And now I want Michael to come forth, remove any energy implants that have been done to you or anything that could have carried over from any other lifetime because of dark magic, voodoo, or dark witchcraft, or even just dark thoughts. I want the stick, pen, needle, or knife that's in your crown chakra removed from your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hips, teeth, anywhere in your body that's out of balance. And as you feel all those pins, needles, and knives being very gently removed, imagine all those spaces immediately fill up with the violet flame to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We release all that unwanted energy back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any energy overlay that's trying to manipulate you, keeping you from connecting with God, healing yourself, being really successful, fulfilling all your divine missions, and living your life in joy. And as all that unwanted energy is gently released, it's keeping all these wonderful things from coming to you. We also send it through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. So if there's anybody out there that's directing any kind of dark energy at you or your family or your friends because they're connected to you, or your animals, or anything that you own, we're going to ask them to stop and step forward in the light. And if they choose to continue doing that dark work, which is their free will, I'm going to ask their higher selves and their guardian angels to put them in a position of total and complete harmlessness. I surround them in a bubble of mirror. The mirror faces them. It's 2 inches from their nose. And as long as they do that dark work, that energy stays contained in the bubble of mirror. And I add the violet flame to the bubble to help them transmute this dark energy so they have no forward movement. And the bubble of mirror stays up 24/7, 365 days a year until they do works of good. So I call your higher self and I ask your higher self to activate your divine blueprint for perfect health. And it starts manifesting in your body now. So allow all this energy to integrate in a very gentle, kind, loving way with your cells, your atoms, your molecules, all your internal organs, going all the way down to your DNA. And with every breath, feel more of this energy integrate. Feel the earth energy come up through your feet and feel yourself ground a little bit. Unless you've got things to do and you got to move around, then feel that earth energy just really pull you back in body and help center you and you become very clear-headed. So now, while I have you in this really beautiful altered space, let's do a little bit of energy work. And I want you to join me into calling for all those spiritual warriors to awaken. And I actually co-wrote this with Dr. James Wong. Let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power, the sacred fire vested in me, I command, I ask that all magic that is keeping the spiritual warriors from awakening be removed. May all the spiritual warriors reconnect to the Creator and become aware of their divine missions, putting them into action. See these people fill up with so much light. They draw to themselves everything they need to be successful and happy. Awaken spiritual warriors inside me. I ask that all magic in myself that is keeping the spiritual warriors from awakening be removed. May all the spiritual warriors within me be activated with the Creator and become aware of their divine missions, putting me into action. See these people within me fill up with so much light. I fill everyone and everything with awakening lights and everything they need to be successful and happy. I call to the spiritual warriors of light who are on all the other dimensions to come forth and give us help on the earth plane, to help awaken and inspire those who are open to the possibilities of going beyond their divine potential and doing selfless acts for the planet, to work with us to help manifesting world enlightenment this year. So be it. Fill it up with lots of light and take a deep breath and release it. So don't forget, we've got an Enlightenment Movement website up. And all you have to do to check into that one is enlightenmentmovement2016.shutterfly.com. And we put up daily the prayer work we do. So we can really keep that energy on earth high and negate as much magic, dark magic, as we can. September 22nd, mark your calendar, we're going for another quantum leap. It's called, and it's also on the equinox, so it's a very high-powered day. And of course, all we're doing is asking you to chant on that day. May divine enlightenment descend around everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. Isn't that easy? Come on, chant it with me. May divine enlightenment descend around everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend around everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. Man, can you feel that energy? Are you getting high again from it? Woo, I am. Yeah, so it's really easy. That day, just give attention to the light. And you can also follow me on Facebook, and I put all the energy work out on there. And you can also write to me. And, how is enlightenment affecting your life? Are you talking about it? How can we manifest enlightenment? What can you do? Whether it's doing random acts of kindness, it doesn't have to be something complicated to amplify light and anchor the light. Teach your kids right from wrong and respect. An enlightenment moment. How would enlightenment affect you? How is it affecting you? Do you see it manifesting around you? If you are, share it. Somebody does something really good. Hey, that's an enlightenment moment. Awesome. It's kind of like giving them a good karma card, huh? And I bring that to people's attention, especially on Facebook. But people need to be acknowledged for the light work that they're just for doing the right thing. There's heroes all over the place. Let's acknowledge them. Speaking of heroes, shall we talk about what's going on briefly about the Dakota pipeline? President Obama and the federal government came in and said they can't temporarily, to stop, the pipeline from going through, which is yay, wonderful. And, I still don't trust the bugger. And it's not permanent. All right. They can change their minds in a heartbeat. So let me give you Obama's number that you can call. Now, this is not his personal number. Okay, guys, this is the White House phone number. Because I know if I gave out Obama's phone number, I wouldn't even know how he would get it to begin with. I'm certainly not in that loop. But I would get in trouble for that one. But actually, someone thought I was giving out his number. So I just want to clear it up. This is the number to the White House, where you can call them, voice your complaints, speak your mind on the Dakota pipeline, speak out about Fukushima, and ask the government what in the hell are they doing or not doing, which is more like they're not doing about Fukushima. And why are they trying to hide it? By not talking about it. Bring this stuff up. All right, so you've got pen and paper. You might as well go get it, because I've got I've got a few numbers I want to give you. All righty, so the White House phone number is 202-456-1111. And for grins and giggles, let me give you the fax number, 202-456-2461. Once again, that number is Obama, the White House, 202-456-1111. Fax number is 202-456-2461. Now, there is a leader at the Red Warrior Camp that is serving the overflow of the Sacred Stone camps at the medic tent. Now, she sent out a list of supplies the team is in need of. And if you're able to send these items, mark the list. And actually, if they get doubles and triples, I don't think they're going to really care, So if you have pen and paper, you want to send all supplies to the Red Warrior Camp, capital B as in boy, I as in ice, E as in elephant, 00, N as in Nancy, 02, Agency Avenue, Fort Yates, Yates, North Dakota, 58538. Or you can actually email them at info@HALTTHEHARM.net. So that's to support the Red Warrior Camp, the medic tent. And all right, I'm going to read you some items that they need. And, write it down if you want to get these things for them. And you can go online. Like I said, at info@HALTTHE, halttheharm.net, and let them know you're sending this stuff. And if not, I'm sure they're just going to be excited to get it anyway. All right, here we go. So they need antacids, Tums, and most of these, they just want tensies, okay? And I think if they get, whatever, then hell, gosh, they're going to be thrilled. All right, Bactine, 10. Irrigation syringes, 10. Bulb syringes, 10. Sterile saline, assorted sizes, 10. Chuck pads. Now, these are all 10s, okay? Activated charcoal, bentonite clay, cough drops, ice packs, burn cream, cuneiform, pregnancy tests, Emsys basins, tweezers, forceps, sterile packages, staple remover trays, spray bottles, individually packed OTC pills, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, aspirin, allergy medication, individually packed ointments like antifungal, hydrocortisone, bactericin, children's OTC medication, infant OTC medication, no stick wound dressings, all sizes, non-latex gloves, small, medium, large, first aid books for children's, prepackaged first aid kits, medium to large, ostoscope, one-touch ultra mini compatible glucose test strips, one-touch ultra mini glucometer, ACE bandages, 1-inch, 2-inch, 6-inch, triangle bandages, bleach, name tags, biohazard bags, shelves, drawers, storage bins, waterproof, small, medium, large cooler, 20 by 40 tent, army tent, Arctic tent, able to be heated with wood stove. They need 10 of those, guys. That's what they're asking for. Cots. They're asking for 10. I'm sure they can use a lot more. Same way with blankets, solar power, solar lights, solar generator, folding tables, smart cell phone, local service and number, AAA batteries, rechargeable, AA batteries, rechargeable, CRT2032 battery, rechargeable battery charger, battery bank, hand wash stations, siphon pump with foot valve bulb, hosing, and 2.5-gallon buckets, Ziploc bags, all sizes, jars with lids, bottles, tins, rose water, other hydrosis, shea butter, mango butter, self-heal in oil, lemon balm in oil, high-quality olive oil, high-quality honey, lemon balm essential oil, tea strainers, teapots, mortar and pestle, herbal soap, jewel weed, lavender, antifungal, tongue depressors, thyme, nettles, oat straw, young oat tops, dandelion, calendula and oil, red root powder, as soon as possible. They need that. Feverfew, cushions and extra cases, marshmallow, and I don't think that's the marshmallow treats, that's the marshmallow herb, eucalyptus, lady's mantle, yarrow, oregano, lavender, lymphatic stimulants of any sort, things for cold conditions. All right, now that's the list, and that's to support the Red Warrior Camp, the medic tent. And again, if you want to send them any supplies, it goes to Red Warrior Camp. B is in boy, I is in ice, E is an elephant, 00, N is in Nancy, 02, Agency Avenue, Fort Yates, that's Yates, North Dakota, 58538. Believe me, they will take whatever you can send them and really, really be grateful. Okay, guys, this is really important too, so listen up, because we could be really screwed if we don't give this attention. Now, the CDC wants to declare a medical police state, announces power to detain the sick and punish those who do not comply. Now, sinister hidden motives are being revealed at the U.S. Center for Disease Control, the CDC. The agency recently announced a new invasive plan for the control of communicable diseases by detaining people suspected of being ill and then forcibly medicating them against their will. The CDC's new proposal, published in the Federal Register, take note of this number 2016-18103. That's number 2016-18103. Will give the agency police state powers permitting CDC officials to detain and forcibly inject chemicals into anyone they deem a threat to public health. There's no rationale for such detainments either. According to the proposal, the CDC defines pre-communicable stage to mean the stage beginning upon an individual's earliest opportunity for exposure to an infectious agent. What the hell? Now, who owns your body? This proposal is an open declaration that the U.S. government now owns your body. At least that's what the CDC seems to be claiming. The truth of the matter is that each individual has certain inherent and inalienable human rights that must be defended. Each human owns their own body and should never be legally bound to become the government's property for forced injections or experimentations. Vaccines cause severe health problems. Even the kangaroo court system set up by the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program cannot keep up with the increase in cases of realized vaccine damage. Thousands of cases of such damage are dismissed by the court, and in spite of this, over $3 billion in select payoffs have been issued to vaccine injured families since the court was established. The court basically functions to give vaccine manufacturers immunity from judicial accountability. Now, the CDC wants to hear from you, and this is important. The CDC wants to hear from you about their proposed power trip rule. This is an excellent opportunity to tell the agency not only to take a hike, exactly how nefarious and how overreaching their new proposal is. If the CDC takes on these new powers, all they will need is for the media to build up enough public fear against some new strain of virus for a new vaccine to be introduced and forced on the public. Anyone dares to ask questions, refuse, could then be forcibly injected and jailed. As the proposal reveals, individuals who violate the terms of the agreement or the terms of the federal order for quarantine, isolation, or conditional release, even if no agreement is in place between the individual and the government, he or she may be subject to criminal penalties. So it's a coordinated vaccine compliance that's, plot unveiled. Be aware that there is a coordinated global effort to indoctrinate and force people into vaccine and pharmaceutical obedience. You are not only viewed as a subject without rights, but accordingly to internal WHO documents, you are viewed as an adversary who needs to be psychologically manipulated into believing in vaccine science. If this new CDC rule goes through, it's not unrealistic to assume that any information you give out as you declare your opposition to forced injections could be used in the future to track you down and inject you against your will. If this course of action sounds familiar, you're probably thinking of the medical experimentation that was forced on Jews during the Holocaust. When the Nazis claimed ownership over Jewish people's bodies, they eventually used police state power to round them up and do whatever they wanted with them in the camps. In essence, the CDC's new rule gives the government authority to incarcerate Americans en masse, relocating them to camps to be medically experimented on with vaccines and other pharmaceutical products. And the CDC is doing away with informed consent. Well, they must have been smoking really good stuff with this. I mean, actually bad stuff, because it mind screwed them. So this is so reptilian. Personal protection by whatever means has never been more important, as the CDC accelerates the same type of Nazi ideology by claiming ownership of your body. Furthermore, it wouldn't be hard to unleash a United Nations global police force into neighborhoods to round up vaccine dissenters. If the government claims ownership over your body and has the military power to do what they want, people will take orders and do their jobs. No questions asked. As the document states, when an apprehension occurs, the individual is not free to leave or discontinue his/her discussion with an CDC public health or quarantine officer. Finally, the document reveals that the CDC is doing away with any informed consent altogether. Even though the American Medical Association still upholds it, CDC may enter into an agreement with an individual upon such terms as the CDC considers to be reasonably necessary, indicating that the individual consents to any of the public health measures authorized under this part, including quarantine, isolation, conditional release, medical examination, hospitalization, vaccination, and treatment, provided that the individual's consent shall not be considered as a prerequisite to any exercise of any authority under this part. So you guys, you got to take action now while the CDC is still open to public comment. So what you do, you go to, got your pen and paper out, www.federalregister.gov, #documents, #2016, #08, #15, #2016-18103, #control-of-communicable-diseases, open-comment. Okay, so let me do that one for you again, because it certainly is a long one, okay? I will spell it out for you. www.f is in Frank, /documents/2016/08/15/2016-1 18103/control-of-communicable, COMMUNICABLE diseases, DISEASES. You got the tic-tac thing there. Open-comment. And, if I were you, I just might want to call the president and the White House on this one. Let's give you that number again, shall we? 202-456-1111. Fax is 202-456-2461. And you just might want to say, give them your opinion on what the CDC is doing and how it is not acceptable and it's Nazi ideology, and they do not have ownership over our bodies. The people that fought this up need to be fired. Actually, prison time would be nice, but, we got to wait for that one. They need to be fired. Get them out. They're not making good decisions for the public. Now, reptilian decisions, oh yeah, they're on. But us humans don't find this acceptable. So call Obama. If you just looked up federalregister.gov documents and look up, probably Federal Register, and, that's hashtag 2016-18103, you will be able to pull up the CDC insane medical police state policy. Please make effort. We all depend on each other, and there is something when we all come together and speak together. The government doesn't give them warm fuzzies. All right, let's move forward. Now, if you want to know how pharmaceutical companies get away with getting drugs funded and out there that literally have side effects that kill us, the former FDA commissioner, Margaret Hamburg, reptilian, named in massive conspiracy and racketeering lawsuit involving Johnson & Johnson, a Wall Street hedge fund, and the Levaquin drug. The former head of the FDA, now this is the former head of the FDA, Margaret Hamburg, used the federal agency to run a massive conspiracy of racketeering and fraud in order to generate millions of dollars in drug company profits for her husband's hedge fund firm, alleges a damning lawsuit filed in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. The lawsuit alleges that while acting as FDA commissioner, Margaret Hamburg engaged in a wide-ranging conspiracy to approve an extremely dangerous drug known to cause severe and even deadly side effects in order to financially benefit her husband's hedge fund, which held very large financial positions in Johnson & Johnson, makers of the drug. Defendants, each and every one of them, operate a criminal conspiracy of at least between the years 2009 and 2015 to fraudulently suppress warnings about the devastating effects of Levaquin, says the complaint. This amended complaint sets forth allegations and involve the conspiracy by defendants, each and every one of them, to reach large financial returns by failing to disclose to plaintiffs and the public at large the full extent of the devastating, life-threatening, and deadly effects of a highly dangerous pharmaceutical drug named Levaquin, reads the opening of the lawsuit. The conspiracy complaint also alleges that over 5,000 people died as a result of Hamburg's conspiracy cover-up at the FDA. Once confirmed as FDA commissioner, Dr. Margaret A. Hamburg acted as the instrumentality that all defendants used to perpetrate their conspiracy and racketeering enterprise by having her act illegally and outside the scope of her authority as FDA commissioner to suppress material information to plaintiffs and the public that Levaquin was inherently dangerous and, in fact, deadly. Had this information been disclosed to plaintiffs and the public at large, her and her husband's financial gain and net worth would have plummeted. Since Dr. Margaret A. Hamburg's husband, Peter F. Brown, reaped and continues to reap huge financial gain as a result of Renaissance Technology LLC's holding of Johnson & Johnson stock. To further this conspiracy, Dr. Margaret A. Hamburg, acting in concert with each and every defendant jointly and severely, appointed officials of Johnson & Johnson's to key FDA advisory committees and colluded with Johnson & Johnson and its officials and subsidiaries to suppress information about the dangerous and deadly effects of Levaquin. As a result, during Dr. Margaret A. Hamburg's tenure as FDA commissioner from 2009 to 2015, over 5,000 people died as a result of consuming Levaquin and other dangerous drugs promoted, manufactured, marketed, distributed, and sold by Johnson & Johnson, suffering debilitating, life-threatening, and deadly disease, illnesses, and effects. This deadly harm continuing as plaintiffs and thousands of other people are suffering and dying from the highly dangerous effects of Levaquin. Both Alkermes and Johnson & Johnson's stock value increased significantly during Hamburg's tenure. Now, Margaret Hamburg bought her way into the FDA with financial contributions to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, alleges the lawsuit. A fascinating finding in the lawsuit alleges that Margaret Hamburg bribed her way into the top position at the FDA by making large financial contributions to Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Dr. Margaret A. Hamburg was nominated as a result of huge political and other gratuities to Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. And at Mrs. Clinton's recommendation during the confirmation process before Congress, Dr. Margaret A. Hamburg, acting in concert with her husband, Peter F. Brown, and the other defendants named in the amended complaint, and all material times the co- and CEO of a hedge fund named Renaissance Technologies, LLC, failed to disclose to Congress and other relevant authorities her and her husband's clear-cut conflict of interest. Specifically, that Renaissance Technologies, LLC, held hundreds of millions of dollars of Johnson & Johnson stock, the manufacturer of the deadly drug Levaquin. And by the way, their, baby powder is pretty deadly too, so stay away from it. It's known to give women damage to your uterus and your ovaries, causing cancer. Now, Defendant Hamburg, on behalf of all the defendants, as part of this racketeering conspiracy, gave political contributions and gratuities to Hillary Clinton in 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2008 to induce Mrs. Clinton to recommend and push for Defendant Hamburg to be nominated by President Obama. Now, Defendant Hamburg, on behalf of all the defendants, as part of the racketeering conspiracy, gave political contributions and gratuities to President Obama to induce him to nominate her to be appointed as FDA commissioner. From what we know about the Clinton Foundation's deep financial ties to Big Pharma and Wall Street hedge funds, none of this comes as any sort of surprise. In fact, while these allegations may have been easily dismissed as conspiracy theory in 2008, so much more awakening has happened among the American public that they are now likely to be understood as an actual conspiracy being carried out among the political and financial elite who routinely conspire against the people in order to enrich themselves. Wow. So that is how all these illegal drugs get to the market. Now they've got to go back and, like they're going to, right? And all those drugs this woman approved of, They need to be taken off the market. It's that simple. Anything from Johnson and Johnson, my God, it'd be a nice time to boycott Johnson and Johnson. Like I said, the baby powder. Oh yeah, that can make you pretty sick too. And some of the baby powder has asbestos in it. Oh yeah, these are really, really nasty people. And we're not surprised, but it's nice to see the truth coming up, isn't it? It's nice when they get caught and busted. But it actually makes you wonder, she got away with this for a long, long time. I wonder who she really pissed off for them to really, put her out in the public eye. It can't look good for Hillary and Bill now, can it? But who am I? Just bringing this up to your attention. That woman and her husband and everybody involved really should get some jail time, some prison time, not just jail time. And their assets taken away and given to all those people that they've harmed, or put into a special fund for people that have already potentially, are taking the drug now that could be harmed later on. Yikes. All right, we are on break, and when we come back on break, we're going to talk more about Pokemon. Oh. Aloha, everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Let Unite show, the second hour on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and this is September 13th, 2016. Now, Revolution Radio is listener-sponsored, and we really depend on you for donations to stay on air. So go to Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips and just press their donation button. How easy can it be? And, make a donation. It really helps us stay on air, and we're so grateful, and I appreciate it. For without you, I wouldn't be doing my programs and doing shamanic work and energy work and affecting the planet like we are. And we are having a big effect on the planet. Don't think we're not. It's amazing what a few people can do. So go to Revolution Radio, check out their website, and then go to their donation button and press it. And then give something, will make you feel good because you're helping us stay on the air. And they do have a lot of other things. If you feel that you have to have something tangible in your hands, you can buy our old shows and you get a mutually beneficial experience. You get our old shows and they get a donation for it. And I think they're still selling seeds, organic seeds, which is always a good thing to have. So go ahead, check them out, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and, press the donation button. We're eternally grateful. And if you want to find more about me, you can go to Facebook at Cathy Bilsky or Catherine Bilsky, or my store, Cathy's Angel Light Crystals, Miracles and Joy, and that's on Facebook too. And I put all the power prayers on there that we do every day, and all the updates on, when people are doing other spiritual work on the planet that we can join into, because it's important, you want them to join our stuff, we got to join their stuff. Now, it doesn't matter, light is light, and every time we come together as a group in light, we are pushing the planet forward. So it does make a difference what you do with your energy. And you can also find me on, LinkedIn and Google Plus, of course, Twitter, and a few other sites that I can't think of right now. Oh, yes, YouTube. And I've got two sites on YouTube. One's under Cathy Bilsky, Quantum Leap. The other's Quantum Leap, Cathy Bilsky on Revolution Radio site. So, subscribe. Need to push that subscription up there so it gets more play, so to speak. Let's see. And remember the September 22nd World Enlightenment Push. So please join us for that day. Well, let's talk about Pokemon Go and Pokemon. Wow, I'll tell you. And if you don't know what it is, you're so lucky. It's basically people wandering around with their phones looking at a virtual reality picture of an animal or creature that really doesn't exist unless you look at it through the phone. So remember, thoughts are things and manifesting. So you've got all these people running around manifesting all these little creatures and monsters, which from a virtual reality point of view, they aren't real, but they are real to them. And they're manifesting them all over the place. So if you step back, so if you had your camera and you took a picture of anything with your normal camera without the Pokemon Go app, you will just see the regular countryside. And with the Pokemon app in your phone, you will see, like I said, these little Pokemon creatures. Now, I didn't really care about Pokemon. I mean, why would I? I have a life to live, okay? And playing a Pokemon game certainly doesn't fit in with my free time. So I've seen people play it and I ignored it until the president of Japan got together with Pokemon people and asked them to put a Pokemon at the Fukushima nuclear radiation site. And I'm going, what the hell? These guys are absolutely insane. Why would anyone put anything and try to lure people into a radiation zone? Oh, why? Because he wants more tourists to come to Japan. So I guess I don't know, if they give it a really big point, people will go there. And you think this president is nuts and insane? Well, yes, he is. He is the one who's responsible for bringing the 2020 Olympics there. Oh God, please. You have to be nuts to go there. And he's also the one that wants all these people that had to move out of the nuclear zone, of which, by the way, all of Japan is now a nuclear zone, but it's even worse, closer to Fukushima. So all these people moved away because they didn't want to get radiated. And the president of Japan wants them to move back there. He doesn't want them to relocate. Isn't he just wonderful? He should move there with his family. And all those Yakuza that are running Fukushima, you guys all need to move to Fukushima, okay? Anyway, so when I saw that, I'm thinking, oh my God, that is so evil to send people into a nuclear zone that's gone on for 5 unchecked years. So it's pretty hot there, a hot zone, okay? Really hot, not safe to be around at all. When I saw that, I went, oh my God, who are these people? And I really had to look at Pokemon. I am owning it. I was a bad parent in the beginning in 1995. This game has been around for a long time. And if you want to manipulate people, you keep something familiar to them and you don't change it. Which these people that have invented Pokemon hasn't changed it at all in over the years, except they have changed the format. Okay, so back then, I thought it was just in 1995, just cutesy little game that was babysitting my kids. If somebody would have even mentioned to me, hey, do you know what Pokemon means in Japanese? Because this is a Japanese game. I would have said, oh, no. Maybe not that way, but I would have said it, right? And they would have said, oh, yeah, Pokemon in Japanese means pocket monsters. Now, if I would have known that back then, I certainly would not have let my children play with this game. All I can think of was, and I was pretty awakened being back then, at least I thought I was, but their magic was greater. And if you've got a satanic game going out there and it's a subtle game and you have this game planned out over the next 20, 30 years, You start really small, really subtle. So I let my kids play it, and thank God they grew out of it. But again, if I would have known it said pocket monsters, I wouldn't have paid attention. So those guys had some really heavy magic around this game. So we remained unconscious and didn't give it any attention. I mean, really, how many of you guys back then thought of translating the word Pokemon? And if you would have known it meant pocket monsters, would you have let your kids play it back then? And then, my gosh, you've got to look at these symbols on some of these creatures, people. Really, really look at them. You got a creature out there called Mewtwo who stands there, and if you look at his head, and if you understand Baphomet, the demon Baphomet, the goat god, he's got a head shaped like that. And he's got three fingers, or a thumb and two fingers sticking out. And when you first look at it, you don't think of anything about it. And you ask the kids, why are his hands like that? And they'll just go, well, he only has 3 fingers. Well, if you put those 3 fingers out, it's a satanic sign. Okay? It's the horns, the devil horn sign. So he's constantly putting that sign out there. How subliminal of him. And then you look on his body, and he's got the 666 there. And the red star David on his forehead. And you look through this game, and these creatures don't evolve into warm, fuzzy creatures. They evolve into demons. Demons that work with magic, that work with poison, that mind screw people, that bite, that claw, that work with energy, that work with sound. It's pretty diabolical. And, the guy that put this Pokemon together. Now, there's 2 stories going out around there. There's a Christian side, and then you got the warm, fuzzy side that they're putting out for this Japanese inventor. Well, the Christian side says that in one conversation for Time magazine, that the inventor of Pokemon actually said he created it because he had Christian parents, and he created this game as a reverse of everything they stood for. I have to say, when I tried to find that comment anywhere online, I couldn't find it. Now, it doesn't mean it's never been there. Somebody could have taken it off. But for me, I couldn't find it, so I don't know if that really means true. Other than when I look at the whole game, I'm going, God, it does make sense. It is pretty demonic, and it certainly isn't Christian. And I'm not a born-again Christian, but I know right and wrong, and I know what's satanic. And it is on the satanic side. Now, the warm, fuzzy story that's going around about the man that invented the Pokemon game is that when he grew up, he loved bugs. He was always collecting bugs. And then when he got older, he just wanted all these kids to have the same delightful wonders of going out into nature and playing with bugs. Okay, I got to ask you something. When you invented Pokemon, the game, that really kept kids in the house. How, again, did that get kids out into nature again? And tell me, please, anywhere in Japan, do bugs evolve into demons? I mean, they might now because it's pretty nuclear, but back in 95 and 80 and 70 and 65, I don't think they were turning into demons back then. So if you want kids to have wonderful time with bugs and really get into nature, why would you invent bugs that turn into demons? I mean, how is that helping them again get into nature? So now you got people walking around playing Pokemon being totally unconscious, walking off of cliffs, walking into the street, getting beat up over this game, being sent into areas where they're being robbed. And, It can be very dangerous. And I certainly don't want any of those stupid little creatures in my store. So is Pokemon dangerous? Potentially, yes, it is. It conditions the child who plays the game into accepting occult and evolutionary principles that are not of light. Haunter can hypnotize, eat a person's dreams, and drain their energy. Abra reads minds. Kadabra emits negative energy that harms others. Ghastly induces sleep. Gengar laughs at people's fright. Nindaran uses poison. The psychic type of Pokemon are among the strongest in the game. Charmander, Haunter, Ivysaur, Kadabra, and many more evolve. The children are taught to use these creatures to do their will by evoking colored energy cards, fights, and commands. Now, you've got all these kids working with magic, and, they're like loose cannon guys. Nobody's guiding them, and I believe with working with energy, but you don't teach children this stuff and just let them go off and be unsupervised, for God's sake. Perhaps the most threatening of the psychic Pokemon are Abracadabra and Alakazam. And parents, just get the books and look at this stuff. Look at the creatures. Now, if Abracadabra and Alakazam, these names should sound familiar, they're classic incantations uttered by those who participate in witchcraft. Images of Kadabra even feature several symbols associated with the occult, like a pentagram printed on its forehead and its unholy 666 motif on its stomach. Triple S. In some media, Kadabra even appears with its 3 fingers raised in a satanic salute. The Eastern mysticism of the Japanese has caused them to incorporate satanic symbols into children's characters in an attempt to pollute their minds. What's more, these 3 sinister Pokemon evolve into one another by spontaneously changing physical form. Among the 151 species of Pokemon, 31 gain control by rage or fury, 21 gain control by slashing or stabbing, 12 are psychic, and 65 use psychic energy to dominate others. Pokemon encourages children to defeat their opponents through deception, psychic energy, and violence. The world of Pokemon wouldn't be beyond redemption if the people who inhabited it possessed morals, but this is sadly not the case. Gary, the childhood friend and rival of the main character, is mean, self-centered, and cruel. Team Rocket members Jesse and James are thieves, criminals, stuck up, and even cross-dress on occasion. Brock, a close friend and companion of the main character, constantly pursues women and can be described as sex-crazed. Now, do you want your children to emulate the cross-dressing nymphomaniacs of the Pokemon universe? Of course not, but these moral lacking characters make appearances in nearly every game and episode of this obviously evil franchise. Now let's talk about seizures. Now this is another scandal that actually is true. Aired in Japan in 1997, Pokemon episode Deno Senshi Porygon grabbed the Guinness World Record for most photosensitive epileptic seizures caused by a television show. 685 to be precise. Thankfully, all of the affected children recovered from the ordeal, but as a result, the episode has never been shown outside of Japan, where it caused a 4-month blackout of all Pokemon programming. Now, the Pokemon Pied Piper zombie apocalypse has begun. Hordes of mindless, obedient sheeple Now, Stampede Anywhere. The puppet masters plant fictitious monsters. What you may not know is that the game was actually developed by a CIA-funded software front group for the purpose of using all the mobile device cameras of the brain-dead public to conduct what I call mass redundant surveillance of any area requiring immediate video documentation by the CIA or NSA. It's essentially a CIA spying machine pretending to be a game. Now, if you didn't understand that, let me reread that one to you again. Parents, you need to listen to this. The game was actually developed by a CIA-funded software front group for the purpose of using all the mobile device cameras of the brain-dead public to conduct what I call mass redundant surveillance of any area requiring immediate video documentation by the CIA or NSA. It's essentially a CIA spying machine pretending to be a game. To accomplish citizen-assisted spying, the game's puppet masters simply plop a virtual monster into any desired surveillance location, and hordes of totally brain-dead apocalyptic zombie humans instantly converge on the scene, all pointing their mobile cameras at the virtual monsters so they can earn their virtual, unreal, who gives a crap, points. As this is happening, the video from selected players' cameras is being streamed to the CIA in real time, along with precise GPS coordinates of the players' locations. The more people the CIA wants to converge onto an area of interest, the higher the monster value they place at that location. As these photos show, when high-value monsters appear in such locations, well, hordes of Pokemon players rush to the scene. I'm sure you can imagine in your mind's eye. And they come by bicycles, taxis, automobiles, on foot, all pointing their cameras at the high-value target and upstreaming real-time video to the CIA. In effect, Pokemon Go is the CIA's way of turning an obedient population of obedient zombie humans into inadvertent collectors of actionable, on-the-ground intelligence. Pokemon is the game that turns obedient, bored citizens into highly effective domestic spies who are unwittingly working for the police state. Witness. Pokemon Go was created by Niantic, which was formed by John Henke. Henke also just happened to help found Keyhole. Now, what does Keyhole do, you ask? I tell you to go to Keyhole's website, but you can't. It just takes you straight to Google Earth. That's because Keyhole was acquired by Google back in 2004. Before that, though, Keyhole received funding from a firm called In-Q-Tel, a government-controlled venture capital firm that invests in companies that will help beef up Big Brother's tool belt. What's more, the funds in In-Q-Tel gave Keyhole mostly came from National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the NGA, whose primary mission is collecting, analyzing, and distributing geospatial intelligence. This all should have been in the video. In-Q-Tel is CIA. The founder, John Henke, not only did previous work for government, he is an advocate of government surveillance. It's his specialty. The challenge is funding a way to get people to willingly give up their rights like with Facebook, but including their geo data as well as their Google and Gmail information. Pokemon Go is turning us all into an army of narcs in service of the coming New World Order. Now, allow me to explain. Lots of apps have sketchy privacy policies. That's nothing new. But the first set of alarms go off as soon as you realize, I'm sure you've all read the privacy policy, right? Yeah, right. Okay, well, listen up. So did you realize that Pokemon Go's policy does seem a bit more liberal than most? Because not only are you giving Pokemon Go access to your location and camera, you're also giving it full access to your Google account, assuming you use that to sign in. There's one section of the privacy policy in particular that seems to be getting the conspiracy theorists of the world up in arms. And you can say it's a little Orwellian. Now listen up. And this is called information disclosed for our protection and the protection of others. Our meaning Pokemon creators, okay? We cooperate with government and law enforcement officials or private parties to enforce and comply with the law. We may disclose any information about you or your authorized child that is in our possession or control to government or law enforcement officials or private parties as we, in our sole discretion, believe necessary or appropriate. A, to respond to claims, legal process, including subpoenas. B, to protect your property rights and safety and the property rights and safety of a third party or the public in general, and to identify and stop any activity that we consider illegal, unethical, or legally objectionable activity. So what does that mean? They're now the Pokemon police? Most Orwellian of all is this line. We may disclose any information about you or your authorized child that is in our possession or control. Since when do they have government, information is at their control? To government or law enforcement officials or private parties. As TechCrunch explained, Pokemon-loving millennials are far less likely to object to a few extra permissions when it's Squirtle staring them in the face as they abandon their every God-given freedom than they do when Google reads their email. And it's not like Pokemon Go itself doesn't already have a direct-ish line to the CIA, because it does. Whoa. So there are people all over the world that is just, taking action or threatening to take action against Pokemon Go to keep it out of their towns and their cities. And I don't blame them because, here's a company that has decided to use the whole world for their play area and not asked anybody if we want to play. And I know a lot of businesses are using it in the Pokemon game to draw people into their stores. But honest to God, if people are coming in to play the game, they are not looking at what you have in the store. They're looking for the stupid monster. And when they find it, they're out looking for more monsters. They're not looking at what your stuff is. I personally don't want that crap in my store, virtual or not. And I cannot wait till enough businesses get together and sue Niantic and Pokemon Go for using their places without their permission. And even if they offered me money to play the game, I would refuse. I don't want a satanic game in my store that's making people idiots and it's giving the CIA a way to spy. I don't think so. So let's talk about preserving your legal rights against Pokemon Go. Now, this was written by a guy in Canada, but believe me, you could use this anywhere. this knowledge, okay? So if you haven't been paying attention, the introduction of this real-time in-public game has created concerns about trespass, robbery, and even murder. Pokemon hunting has resulted in police being alerted on suspicious behavior, only to find people walking in circles, staring at their phones. These hapless players have also been targeted by criminals based on their blind meandering. At least one attempted murder suspect has been apprehended due to the Pokemon hunt, and a dead body, no foul play suspected, was discovered. Some people have resorted to signs to keep players out, and others have tried dog poo. Either way, it seems that non-players are not impressed. Some have capitalized on the phenomenon using lures to attract players. Uber drivers are specializing in Pokemon locations. Travel agencies are offering Pokemon tours, and independent entrepreneurs are selling Google Maps with important landmarks. There are even suggestions that it's a great way for us to reacquaint ourselves with our urban surroundings. It's unclear whether any of the interference by real property owners could give rise to claims of detenue or the right of Replevin to recover a Pikachu or Mewtwo. Don't worry, I don't know what those are either. Questions of attractive nuance and occupiers' liability are likely to arise. Otherwise, secure premises unwittingly hosting a gym or Pokestop might be well informed to do everything they can to keep those people out of their store. Although Toronto residents scoffed at recent attempts to ban walking while texting, the Pokemon Go phenomenon may give greater weight to the debate if there are actually injuries. So the real problem might be in the terms of service, like we said. The company behind Pokemon Go, Niantic, takes measures to ensure that Pokemons don't appear in roadways, airports, runways, or in bodies of water. And they provide users a form to report any inappropriate locations. So if there is an inevitable lawsuit, Niantic is likely to rely on the terms of service to rebuff any claims when signing up. When signing up, the user relieves Niantic of any liability and agrees to follow any domestic laws. The strongest component of these terms is the arbitration clause, which says, arbitration notice, except if you opt out and except for certain types of disputes described in the agreement to arbitrate section below. You agree that disputes between you and Niantic will be resolved by binding individual arbitration, and you are waiving your right to a trial by jury or to participate as a plaintiff or class member in any purported class action or representative proceeding. So in order to opt out, user must send an email to termsofservice@nianticlabs.com within 30 days of their agreement to the terms with arbitration opt-out notice in the subject line. Failure to do so will be deemed to have knowingly and intentionally waived your rights to litigate. Even if you never have a personal legal dispute against Niantic personally, the best revenge, if you are getting annoyed by the swarm of Pokemon Go players, is a swarm of opt-out notices. So then you go to the information disclosed for our protection and the protection of others, which we said. We cooperate with government and law enforcement officials or private parties to enforce and comply with the law. We may disclose any information about you or your child that is in our possession or control the government or law enforcement officials or private parties, as we on our sole discretion believe necessary or appropriate. And they also can identify and stop any activity that they consider illegal, unethical, or legally actionable activity. So now access, modifying, and deleting your information, heads up. Parents may request and obtain access to their personal information stored about their children who are under the age of 13 by contacting PokemonGo-privacy at nianticlabs.com. If you want us to modify or delete your child's personal information and your or your child's account, or discontinue the provision of your or your child's personal information to third parties, please again contact them at PokemonGo-privacy, nianticlabs.com. With your request, we'll take steps to modify or delete your or your child's information as soon as we can, unless permitted by applicable law. Please note, however, that some information may remain in archived backup copies for our records or as otherwise required by law. So there's a law that says you got to keep copies of this in a Pokemon game. Please. All right, now, keeping your information. Following termination or deactivation of your or your child's account, Niantic, its clients, affiliates, or service providers may retain information, including you or your child's profile information and user content, for a commercially reasonable time period for backup, archival, and or audit purposes. If you have any questions about termination or a deactivation of your or your child's account, please contact them again, PokemonGo-privacy at nianticlabs.com. And all I can say to you on that one is, good luck. Let me know how well it works for you. And then they have the indemnity clause. You will indemnify and hold harmless, which means they ain't accepting any kind of responsibility for anything they do, Niantic, TPC, TPCI, and their respective officers, directors, employees, and agents from and against any claims, disputes, demands, liabilities, damages, losses, and costs and expenses, including without limitation reasonable legal and accounting fees arising out of or in any way connected with your access to and use of the terms of the services or content by your user content or your violation of these terms. Wow. So I hope you heard all that. And, look at the game, guys. You really, really want your children playing this. Do you want to be playing this? Let's do a little energy work. Let's call the Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to all the black satanic magic that's around Pokemon, and from the time it was vented before 1995 all the way up to what the game is now, and remove all those overlays over the game so people see clearly how satanic this game is, and the parents see clearly this game, and they refuse to let their children play and their kids play, and see all the people that are becoming conscious. Get rid of the app, delete the game, get a life. All right, fill it up with light and love and release it. If you think about it, the people that started, 1995 and up, they've all been indoctrinated into this game. Yeah, that's how it works. You started off something really cute, and then it just gravitates and grows from there. But what was their purpose in putting out this game? I had this young girl come at me and say, oh my God, so that means all these satanic people I don't see them popping up all over the place on every corner. And I'm thinking, oh honey, you're just not looking hard enough. And it's not that they're on the corner, but they're everywhere. They're in all the sports. And you look at some of those baseball players when they've hit a home run, and I'm saying all of them, but some of them, and they put their hands in the satanic symbol and put their arms up in the air towards heaven to giving honor to Lucifer. Or they do the 666. And that doesn't mean they're, getting a 3-base run. It means the 666, 666, the sign of Satan. Hello. They're doing it in basketball. They're doing it in all sports. They're doing it in politics. They're doing it in the movie industry. I mean, how many of those politicians have you seen throw up the devil sign? So when you ask me, has this affected people? Well, yeah, it has. On a subconscious level, when you see these satanic signs and you see them in a game, and people think it's a warm, fuzzy game, why would you think anything's wrong with them? So when you see somebody comes up with a satanic thing later on, or they invite you into the club of Lucifer with all these really cool signs and symbols, you're probably going to say yes because you're used to it. You're conditioned. What can we say? So they've been doing this for a long time, and it's just one of many mass manipulations that they're putting out there for the masses. And I love breaking their black magic, because if we're seeing it, and I'm so happy that many parents are seeing it, and I'm hearing about it, and they're talking about it. And truthfully, if I had my kids, I would sit down and talk to them about this and why we're removing the app from their game, from their phone, and why they're not going to play it anymore. And if they gave me any problem with it and they didn't like it, I would simply take their damn phone away, and they would lose phone privileges and the app. Everything that goes with it. They shouldn't have a cell phone at their age anyway. It's wrecking their brains. It's putting radiation into their bodies. Hello, parents. Who is the parent? Be the parent. I wish somebody would have said this to me 20 years ago. And I would not have exposed my kids to this. So I'm just as guilty as everybody else, except I'm going to own it up to magic, because it was heavy magic. And it's falling apart. Their magic is falling apart, I am so happy to say, because we see it now. And we're all going, oh my God. But look how far we've come in so many ways, and how we've grown in consciousness. 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, nobody cared about the earth and flicking their cigarette butts on the ground and garbage. And you see people change and starting to pay more attention to the planet. So we are evolving. But you also got to talk about it, and talk about when other parents are, letting their kids play with it and with the game. And if you want ammunition, just go buy one of their damn magazines, and it's got all those figures in it. And you can see exactly how these little creatures turn into monsters. And like I said, so you got all these people running around, loose cannons, looking through virtual reality, which is real in another time space, creating monsters all over the planet. Now, you may want to also think about what's happening with the CERN Hadron Collider project, and how they're saying that they're opening portals, which I hope we're closing, to demons. So now, are those demons any way connected with all these little demons these kids are manifesting and these adults are manifesting? So let's cut ties to all those demons on the planet, all those monsters. And we're going to imagine Michael the Archangel coming in and tying and bind each and every one of them. And we're going to put them all in a bubble of violet flame to transmute their energy so they cannot transform into anything else. They have no more power. They have no more energy on any level. And see people losing interest in the game, not caring, putting it down, stop using it, and sharing that with others. See them getting really, really bored with the game and stop playing. And let that be replaced with something better, something constructive that will bring them joy. And if they're open, let them be sent a divine mission and something other than Pokemon Go, divinely constructive, that will give them a passion for life, for something other than Pokemon Go. And it's like I say to the kids, so you become a Pokemon master. Wow. Okay, how exciting is that? Are you going to put that on your college resume? Is that going to score points? How is it going to help you graduate from high school? Huh? Are you going to put it on your resume to get a job? I'm a Pokemon master. Because trust me, if you do, those employers are going to look at you and go, oh God, no friggin' way. You don't do anything with your life but play this stupid game. I don't want you working for me. And how in the world is this game actually doing something beneficial for the planet? It's not. It's creating monsters. And it's putting satanic messages out there. And it's creating demons. That's not helping the earth. So just a lot to think about. Now, it's not easy living in this world, but come on, guys, there's got to be something else out there than manifesting demons through Pokemon. But, it's up to you what you're going to do. And I hope this gave you more ammunition, and parents that you're listening gave you a lot more ammunition. And again, be the parent. If your kids don't like it, take the damn phone away. Be the parent. Your administrators in school should not be allowing this game in school or letting anybody play it in school. Now, focus on the light. Wow. Well, I hope your week goes really well. We're going into the full moon. What's today? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the full moon. So if you are thinking about people from the past, old lovers, it's probably because they're thinking of you. So it's really going to be an intense time. Full moon, Mercury in retrograde, because kind of the nuts come out during the full moon. So just remember, if things aren't going well, just to step back and take a couple deep breaths and go, God, Mercury's in retrograde. If you have an appointment, then have a backup for the appointment, then have a backup for the backup, okay? And then if that doesn't work, then just go with the wind. So let's ground before the show closes. Put your feet flat on the ground. And feel that earth energy come up the bottom of your feet. Feel it come up your ankles, your calves. Feel the earth energy come up your knees. And the higher it gets, the more grounded you become, the more back and body, the more clear-headed. And with every breath, feel more of that earth energy come up through your body. And feel yourself grounding even more. Again, becoming very centered, very clear-headed, very calm, very joyful. And for those of you that are still lightheaded after the show and need to ground even further, then may I suggest, if you can, go find a tree and put your hands on the tree and send the tree all the energy, all your excess energy. And when you've done that for 30 seconds or to a minute, ask the tree to send you energy back. It's that simple. And you'll immediately ground. Or you can eat something. That should help you pull back in body and ground. And some people take a nice warm bath to ground. And then some people, if you have the stone hematite, go get it. Hold it until you're not lightheaded, okay? It's very important that you pull back in body because it's my karma. So now I am karma free. Do random acts of kindness out this week. You know, the more light you put out, the more quicker we're going to quantum leap into enlightenment. And the more light counters what darkness is doing out there. And if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, then focus on the light. Focus on your creation, your connection to the Creator. And take some big, gentle breaths. And know that with every breath you take, that's your connection to the Creator. And it flows through you. And it actually helps you stay centered. But that is your connection. So send light out everywhere. You know, if something's come to your attention, if there's somebody, an accident happened or somebody's hurt, send them energy. If you know somebody who's sick, send them energy so they can heal themselves, or at least take that energy and use for themselves to heal. I think I just said that differently. You know, send energy to your kids, your friends. Send the light. Work with the light and talk about enlightenment. How we're manifesting enlightenment. How you're seeing it in your life. Are you seeing the miracles? I hope you are. And I hope that Spirit will send you all your heart's desires, and that when you get them, you see them and you recognize them. Because sometimes when we get something, which we always do get what we ask for, but it never looks like we thought it was going to look like when we get it, nor come from the direction you thought it was going to come from. That's how Spirit keeps us on our toes. So I wish many miracles on you. And if you have aches and pains, that Spirit guides you to what you need to release it. And maybe a nice energy worker will come into your life to help you release it. And for those of you, if you're in Hawaii, or if, you know, come to my store, I do free pain and stress release. And I do the curse removal, energy balancing at the store. I do also the soul retrievals, and a lot of that you can get on my website at www.angellighteom.com. That's ANGELITEOM.com. And I have all my groovy products on there. I have my healing products. You can get the curse removal there for free. You can download it. And I also have a book on spiritual basics you can download for free. I have a cool site. Or, like I said, you can come to my store in Honoka'a, Hawaii. That's the Big Island. And it's really cool to come to the Big Island because the volcano's flowing. And that's a chance of a lifetime to see. And that's Cathy's Angel Light Crystals, Miracles and Joy. I have the largest crystal in Hawaii. It's 1,000-pound celestial smoky quartz crystal, which I'd let everybody come touch and hug. She's so social. And if you look at my Facebook page, you will see it there. And I even let people use her, you know, if you need to amplify your energy. And with that, we're out of time, and have an awesome